James, I wanted to follow up on what you're saying about Marcuse's, what was the phrase you call it?
Repressive tolerance.
Repressive tolerance, because I find that, I'm going to write this down actually, repressive tolerance. When they try and basically, it sounds like not eradicate the right, but they're trying to preempt the right by making it so they don't even, whatever that means, the right, that they don't even have thoughts. They don't even think the thoughts. What I'm finding is if you try and destroy part of a dichotomy, it's like a magnet. You have a north and a south, and if you break it in half, the new piece still has a north and a south. So if you eradicate the right, you're essentially creating a new left and a new right. Mm-hmm. And then you have to eradicate that right, which then creates a new left and a new right, which is ever smaller. Yeah. And you're ripping society in half over and over again.
Yeah. So he actually defines what the left is the people who want to have a whole new society. In other words, a revolution. In other words, Marxists.
When does it end
hold on there a minute, good sir. I would like a whole new society. Well, I would like the Constitution to be upheld. Mm-hmm. I would like the Federal Reserve to be, not. I would like our system of governance to actually be representative. I would say that I consider myself to be particularly revolutionary in that our system is broken in a large variety of ways, and I think most Trump supporters agree with that.
Yeah, that's because MAGA is class consciousness.
Right. The only thing is, I don't think we should be burning it down and killing people and smashing windows. We should be going through paperwork and being like, hey guys, I think this would work better. And then we say, all right, let's give it a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, MAGA is class consciousness. Marx, it turns out, surprisingly, wasn't totally wrong. Marx believed that when capitalism reached an advanced enough stage, when it reached a late enough stage, it would seize so much control and become so corrupt that eventually the working class would awaken and realize, hey, wait, we are being screwed over by the power elite, and we need to seize the means of production, etc. The problem was Marx thought what the working class would want is equity. Everybody made equal, everything shared equitably. What it wants is freedom. The human spirit cries to freedom. It does not cry to let's share all of our crap. It cries to freedom.
He was not a smart man.
Marx?
Yeah, Marx.
No, not particularly. He's also a very entitled, spoiled brat man. He spent down his parents' money. He spent down his wife's family's money. He spent down Engels' money. When Engels did not marry we'll say love of his life. I don't know. They lived together 20 years relationship. She dies, right? Marx writes a letter to Engels, who's his cash cow. And in this letter, he writes a couple of sentences at the beginning like, oh, that's sad. I'm sorry to hear that. And then he writes 30-something sentences about his financial problems and could you send a check to Engels when this love of his life died. That's the letter he sends. And so much so that Engels, who's basically been like his little like lapdog on a leash this whole time, is like, oof, bro, not even. By the way, here's your check. Because total cuck. But he was not a good guy. He was not a good guy.
But think about it. Doesn't he represent the modern left in so many ways, like very well?
No, exactly. He's just like them.
Exactly, and
then
that's
why
they
are just like him.
Right,
yeah,
right. They are the children of his entitled and ignorant and naive ideology.
That's right.
It's when you think about the universe and what it takes to create and survive and to maintain, you have a very different worldview. But when you're born into luxury and you don't understand, like I view it as somebody who understands physics and they understand the building blocks of reality, and physicists tend to. Then they have a general understanding of how things are connected and what you need to make a certain thing work. But then imagine you have like a 5th grade science teacher who doesn't know anything about physics because he's just got hired for the job and they put him in the science department, and he doesn't understand what he's talking about. He's like, I should be able to do this and it should work, and it doesn't. He doesn't understand the underlying principles that make a machine work. When you have people who are born into luxury, they don't understand the base components of existence, of an economy, of hard work, of what made the economy good, family structure, for instance. So they say, well, now that we're floating on top of this cloud well above where all the worker bees are, what do we want? If you grow up, if you develop your mind without seeing the hard work required to maintain, then you will not advocate for its maintenance.
That's right.
And that's what Marx says.
It's not hard to get food. It's just at the grocery store.
Yep.
And that's exactly what people said to me when I criticized UBI. Yeah. When they were shutting down these stores and from COVID, I actually had a guy tweet at me. I said, the dairy farms are dumping the dairy because they can't get the processing plants to take it, because the processing plants can't get the plastic cartons, and the cartons aren't being made. The whole economy is sludged up. And then I said, so when this all shuts down, where do you get your milk from? And I actually had a guy on Twitter say, what do you mean, the grocery store? And I said, where does the grocery store get it from? And I said, what are you talking about? It's just there. No.
That guy had to be messing with you.
No,
dude.
no,
Bro.
You see, this is you got to watch out for that, Ian.
I just can't even respond to people like that. I
But
feel
listen,
like they're messing with me.
One of the biggest problems humans have is they assume if I know it, so do you. And that is most people. So this guy's perspective is, I believe it's true that milk is just at the grocery store.
Where you get it.
I'm not going to give any of these people the benefit of the doubt when they advocate for something like universal basic income. To an extreme degree, because I understand there's some things that we could probably discuss in terms of that, but to an extreme degree where it's like, social distribution of all funding. And when I try to explain it to them, their argument is quite literally UBI works because the food is just sitting there, and if I had the money, I could have it. And then I'm like, the money serves a purpose. It lubricates the economy. It is the medium of exchange so that energy can move from one place to another. Without the system in place, it doesn't work. And they're just like, but milk is at the grocery store.
You said you think there's some value to a UBI or some instances it might work.
I'm saying I don't want to be absolute on outright saying, in general, UBI is impossible or whatever. What I'm saying is, for the most part, I believe it doesn't work, especially based on the way our society exists today.
Unemployment is kind of like UBI, except you have to not work to get it. So it's like,
so it's not universal.
Incentivizing people to quit their jobs or to get fired on accident or whatever. So like that could be a form of UBI where you don't have to lose your job to get it.
I don't know about that because by definition, if it's universal basic income, it has to go to everybody, including the employed.
I'm saying someone might come with an argument about something I didn't consider. That's why I try not to be completely absolute on it. I think that would be ignorant.
Here's an interesting little aside since we mentioned the World Economic Forum. And I read the Klaus Schwab's books, right? So I read
the Klaus Schwab.
The Klaus Schwab.
The
Schwab. The Anal Schwab.
The Schwab.
The Anal Schwab
He
of the
talks
Klaus.
like a Bond villain.
He looks and sounds. He's right out of Central
Everyone knew
Casting.
Palpatine was going to be the emperor. It was pretty obvious.
Maybe
if
the
you saw
only
first
reason,
Star Wars
hold on,
movie.
maybe he's right. The only reason we don't trust him is because he seems like a Bond villain.
Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier.
Maybe
let's
he is.
deepfake him. Let's put a less Bond villainy looking face
He
on
may be
his
the
head.
anti-hero.
Is this real?
Yes.
It's real, dude.
That's not real.
It turns
Well,
out people
He's
ask
dressed
him-
like a Sith. He looks like Darth Vader. He looks like what Anakin was wearing when he turns into Darth
I
Vader.
think they're just getting bold. Like Hillary Clinton dresses like a dictator and always has. It's
She
a
does.
weird thing where
She
they just
dresses like
they
Kim
almost
Jong-un.
they either just don't understand how bad it looks or they're trying to test the waters, see what they can get away with.
Okay,
I don't know.
Hold on.
I actually know the explanation for this outfit, but
Explain
I don't
this.
want to tell people the explanation because it's funny
love
that to not know what it is. It is literally there's some weird university in Europe that gave him a doctorate, and that instead of the normal doctorate robes, that's what they wear.
So it's like,
Wow.
he's like a Sith.
It's academic regalia in like some Sith university of Lithuania or something like that.
Sith.
It's-
Okay, wait.
You know what they
with
learned at that
university
You know what they learned at the university?
Dracula.
The Jedi wouldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So who is this guy? Tell us about Klaus Schwab.
So Klaus Schwab is the chairman of the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum was his brainchild back in 1971. He comes up with this idea, the World Economic Forum. The idea is to bring big corporate leaders together with government leaders, with NGO leaders, with other movers and shakers, I guess, like Greta Thunberg, and get them to rub elbows in massive fancy ski resorts and these kind of future visionary kind of how are we going to shape future society meetings that for very many years were famously held in Davos in
I've been to
Switzerland.
Davos for the World Economic Forum.
Really?
Not actually at the forum, but in the peripheral events.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's him. And so he wrote this series of books. His first book, which I actually have not yet read, I've only skimmed through it, I have it, is called Stakeholder Capitalism. So his goal is to shift capitalism out of a shareholder model into a stakeholder model.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.